This is Goku-san, DVZ, and welcome back for a new top 10 list. This time is going to be a countdown of my personal top 10 favorite 3D or CG animated films by Disney. Now, this will include both CG films that Disney did more or less by themselves, along with Pixar films, since Disney owns Pixar. So, with that said, I have a few honorable mentions and a few dishonorable mentions of a few films I definitely did not like. First up, let's do honorable mentions. Toy Story 2, Brave, which I feel is kind of an underrated film in my opinion. The Good Dinosaur, another somewhat underrated film in my opinion. Big Hero 6, Monsters Inc. Dishonorable mentions. A few specific. Planes, and I never even bothered to watch the sequel. Cars 1, I know a lot of people liked. I didn't. Cars 2 was total garbage. I didn't even bother watching Cars 3. Yeah, I can't stand the car movies. I get it. It was for a younger audience, but you could say the same about some of these other CG films, but I thought they were much more mature at how they handled the overall story in general, at the overall picture of things. Also, dishonorable mention Monsters University, I thought was overall garbage and was just a cash grab. And never watched Finding Dory. To be honest, I just felt like I was going to be disappointed with Finding Dory like I was with Monsters University. But I've heard actually a decent amount of positive, so eventually I might decide to give Finding Dory a chance. And then we'll see. Coming at number 10, now only 3 of these films own physical copies, and I will show obviously. Um, like 2 or 3 on the top 10 I currently do not have, and then the rest are all digital copies I have. Coming at number 10 from actually Pixar. Coming in number 10 for me personally, Inside Out. Now I'm sure a lot of people would have this film higher on their personal list, but like I said, my own personal list, but I really liked the film. If I didn't, I don't think I would have gone out to actually get a copy of Inside Out, but I really like it. I especially like the coming of age story overall to the film. I thought it was really well executed and well done overall. Storytelling was good, very mature, and I feel that overall the story and things, elements in it, are going to relate better to adults more so than kids, in my personal opinion. But that's number 10. At number 9 is a game is actually one of the ones I have digitally, and that is Wreck-It Ralph. A surprise film to be sure. I did not expect to like as much as I ended up enjoying it. But yeah, Wreck-It Ralph is a lot of fun. It was cool getting to see personal characters I know from growing up with video games, like getting to see in the Villain Talk or whatever group. It was cool getting to see like Zangief, though I never would have really considered Zangief a true villain. But overall, it was cool. Also getting to see Bison, getting to see Sonic. Of course, Nintendo didn't allow Mario to be involved. Mario! But yeah, didn't allow, no surprise, given it's Nintendo. Coming in at number 8 is one of the few games on this list, or movies on this list, that I do not own, but I do thoroughly enjoy from watching a few different times. I obviously, since it's at number 8. Coming in number 8 for me personally is the film Finding Nemo. I personally thought it was a well executed overall film. Of the earlier days of Pixar films, I think it's overall pretty well executed film. I liked it genuinely a lot more than I did Monsters Inc. I think Monsters Inc. is kind of overrated. For a lot of people, they allow the nostalgia factor to cloud their better judgment. I don't have that same thing with Monsters Inc. or Finding Nemo, but story wise, I much prefer Finding Nemo in all honesty. And in a supporting role, I really like Dory and, of course, Ellen DeGeneres. And I thought Ellen DeGeneres, honestly, is a really good voice actress. I will say that. Coming at number 7 is a film I just more recently got into. I finally decided to check out after multiple coworkers and a couple of people I know that actually highly recommended the film. I ended up watching. I've now watched it several times, obviously, and giving it at number 7. It's a lot of. I actually have to say I enjoyed it quite a bit, and that is Zootopia comes in at number 7. I'm actually surprised at how much I liked Zootopia. It's actually has some darker elements to the story aspect, and there definitely is a running theme specifically in some of the overall star, or rather stacking story arc in this film. And the real villain behind the scenes, it's a you don't really see common. I give him points for that, but it was interesting again to see this world they had created with these different species. But if you notice, they're all mammals. So yeah, you don't have anything else on mammals in Zootopia, but still, it's a good film. And I think story-wise, it's maybe one of the better films that Disney's done in a while of their 3D animated films. And it definitely ended up a little darker in parts of the film than I was expecting, in all honesty. But I have to say, good on you, Disney. You surprised me with Zootopia. Coming in at number 6 is a film I highly recommend. Now, I have this personally digitally. Great film, and I really had a lot of fun with its world in Kingdom Hearts 3. Coming in at number 6 is the film, of course, based on the fantasy story Rapunzel. So, obviously, you now know. Number 6 is Tangled. Really fun overall film. I had a lot of fun. I liked also the villain, and about half the songs I really enjoyed thoroughly. There were a few songs that I didn't care as much about overall, but I will say Mother Knows Best is definitely one of my favorite songs, and of course it's the villain song. And a lot of times I tend to like villain songs more, but that's just me because I've always been more of a fan of the Disney villains. But I will say Rapunzel, or rather Tangled, has a pretty good villain, so I have to give him that. Coming in at number 5, I feel is one of the more underrated films from Pixar Disney, and that is the film Ratatouille. Really good film, and a lot of fun, in all honesty. It's a just great, like, fun film. I'd say of the films list, this is one of the films that you can have a lot more fun watching, and you feel it has the more upbeat, positive feel than some of the other films which have darker stories with the overall story arcs. Ratatouille, not so much. It's a much more simple overall film, but at that same time, it does make you feel a little more positive when you watch it. It makes you feel more upbeat. And I have to give Ratatouille that. It's a good feel-good movie to watch, in all honesty. Coming at number 4 is only the second ever Pixar film I ever saw. Now, this one, I guess you could say, has a little bit of a nostalgia factor for me, personally. So maybe that's why it's so high and would be other people's. This is one of the ones I also have digitally. A Bug's Life comes at number 4. I feel this is, unfortunately, a very overlooked film. It is interesting, the year it came out, it was duking out with another 3D or CG ant film from DreamWorks called Ants. Story-wise, Ants was much darker and more mature, where A Bug's Life was much more innocent, but I actually personally, in the area of the overall story and just certain elements and stuff with A Bug's Life, just hit me harder than with Ants. Ants is good, but I feel it doesn't have the overall longer lasting appeal that A Bug's Life did for me personally. That, and I loved the villain, Hopper. He was just a lot of fun. He is definitely one of my favorite Pixar villains, hands down. Coming in at number 3 is a film only watched more recently, the first few times. I fell in love with this movie after the first time, and it's about the only time I could say A Pixar movie genuinely got me to actually tear up a little at the end of the film. And that is coming at number 3, Coco. I honestly am surprised at how much I love this movie. Genuinely a really good, well executed film. The storytelling is superb, the music is great, and I just love the fact that actually how much respect this film actually shows to Mexican culture. That's really cool from Disney because they didn't used to always have the best, overall, how shall I put this, the best track record with showing mutual respect to other cultures. Coco is definitely, I think, really good, and genuinely, they really put their time into the culture. Like Day of the Dead and things, and the art style in this film. The colors are so vibrant, especially in the Beyond, or whatever you want to call the afterlife. It's just great. Honestly, it's a lot darker than a lot of other Pixar Disney films. I will say that. It definitely can get kind of dark in moments in the film, but I think that just makes it more appealing to adults and overall helps the story in general. I think it's going to help it connect with much larger, more mature audiences than a lot of other Pixar films would do. But this is a film that no one should definitely ever mark off. Coco is superb and a great film. And I can't recommend this movie highly enough to anyone. If you have not seen Coco, watch it. Coming in at number 2 is a film that's going to be somewhat controversial given I have this film so high up. I have seen this movie 12 times. In my opinion, it's the best modern Disney musical. In my opinion, the best Disney musical of the 2010s period. And it has a song that I have listened to probably well over 1,000 times, and I still like this song. And I know it word for word. It is easily in my top 3 probably favorite new worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3. Coming in at number 2, Frozen. Yes, as I said, very controversial. And I understand, but the songs are much more memorable in Frozen than many other, especially, come on, Let It Go. Let's be honest, Let It Go is a great song. And I love that song. Heck, I occasionally, constantly find myself like humming or have the song playing in my head. It's a very addictive song. I put it up there with like DuckTales and stuff on songs that'll get stuck in your head. But it's good. I like Olaf as side comic relief, though I personally prefer the reindeer more than Olaf. I have mixed feelings about the overall twist with the villain at the end of the film, but I can't deny enough, and I feel Elsa is a really cool character, and it's really the first time we've seen finally a character not a princess but actually becoming a queen. Obviously, it's based off the story of the Ice Queen. And it kind of went a little bit more the direction of like Wicked to a certain extent. If you don't know about Wicked, you might want to look it up. It's actually interesting. But with that said, that's number 2. Number 1, I actually don't have a physical copy of, digital only. And that is easily, it was the first Pixar film ever done. And yeah, most definitely nostalgia factor, given this film is 24 years old, and that blows my mind. But coming at number 1 is the original Toy Story, released in 1995. Of course, it was the passion project of course, the co-founder of Pixar, and of course, that being John Lasseter. And the film is still a lot of fun to this day. I can't even get how many times I've seen Toy Story 1. But I'll get right up this video. Those are, in my opinion, the top 10 best 3D animated Disney films slash Pixar. But you get my drift. But anyways, leave a comment. Tell me, what are your personal favorite CG animated films from Disney Pixar? Anyways, leave me a comment of a future, maybe Disney type of top 10 list you'd like me to work on. But I'll see everyone next time. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel. And I hope you enjoyed the music in the background from Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days.